Let's head back to Miami now, where a woman is on trial for the murder of her on-again, off-again partner. Her name is Daisy Link, and she told police that she shot Pedro Jimenez in self-defense, claiming to have been the victim of abuse for years.
Prosecutors here, however, say that Link is lying and that she fired on Jimenez in a fit of rage while he was running away, that he was shot in the back. Let's head back into the courtroom now, picking it up where we left off. There's a new witness on the stand, a neighbor who had that surveillance video that was actually lost by police and erased, but he's going to recall the night of the incident. This is Robert Cisneros.
Mr. Cisneros, before we get into what you saw, did the officers try and download the video that you viewed together at your house?
I believe that was their original intention, yes.
Were they able to download it?
No, they were not.
Do you know why they weren't able to download it?
Not exactly. No, I'm under the assumption it's because, like I mentioned before, the device is an older device.
Sorry, can you say that again?
That why they were able to download it, I'm not exactly sure. Just maybe the programming wasn't compatible. I can't really say for sure.
At some point, did someone come and try to take your DVR to get that video?
Yes.
Okay. Did you give him the DVR?
Yes, I handed him the DVR.
Is this
the last part? You're soft-spoken.
I'm sorry. I handed the DVR. Yeah.
Was there any evidence of tampering with the DVR before you gave it to the detectives?
No.
When the detectives were viewing your video, did you see them mess with the DVR at any point?
No.
Did they try to delete the video?
No.
Did they try to tamper with it?
No.
Did they cut a cable?
No.
Did you cut a cable?
I did not cut any cables, no.
Did you try to tamper with it?
No, I did not.
When the detective came to retrieve your DVR, did you give it to them?
Yes.
Were they able to retrieve the video?
As far as I know, no. When it was in their possession, no.
When you got the DVR back, were there any videos on it?
No.
Was there any evidence of tampering when you got it back?
No.
Judge, may we go sidebar?
No, let's continue.
Now, Mr. Cisneros, I want to talk about that video.
Okay.
What did you see in the video?
You can answer.
When we got to the time frame that the detective wanted to look at, I know it's in the middle of the night. I can't recall the exact time. We witnessed a person that he was interested in running from the property directly behind mine, because that property, there's no fencing, so anybody can just come in and out of that property. And I have an alleyway behind my property. It's one of those old type alleyways where garbage used to get picked up behind the houses. He was running towards the fence, towards my fence. Obviously, I have a 6-foot wooden fence, so he couldn't keep going. So then he changes direction and goes, I want to say, in an easterly direction. He goes out of view of the camera. A few seconds, maybe a minute later, he's more like not running anymore. It's more like stumbling. And then he drops out of view. Just keep in mind, I have a 6-foot fence, so anything on the ground in the alleyway, you can't really see it. But you can see individuals walking back and forth, and also vehicles.
So I want to break that down. You mentioned that the individual the detectives were interested in was running.
Yeah, initially, yeah.
He was running towards where?
He ran, my house faces north, so he was running towards the back of my house, so he was running in a northerly direction, and then changes direction and goes easterly down the alleyway, out of view of the camera. And then a few seconds later, he comes back, but stumbling now. He's not running anymore.
You mentioned he was stumbling. Did he appear to be injured?
Judging from my experience as a firefighter, the way he was stumbling, yeah, he did appear like he was injured.
And when he stumbled, what area did he stumble in, based on the video you saw?
He fell right behind my property, more on the easterly side of the end of my property, but in the alleyway.
And what else did you see in the video?
Maybe a few minutes or 10 minutes go by, there's a vehicle that approaches.
You mentioned 10 minutes go by.
Well, just generalization. Yeah, again, any kind of time that I give you, it's generalization because it's.
So some time goes by, a vehicle approaches. What else do you see?
We see a female get out of the vehicle, approach the area where the subject had dropped, and I don't have any sound on my camera, so we can't hear what's verbally being said. And the female paces back and forth several times until I believe a Homestead police officer arrives.
Does she ever get back into the car in the video you reviewed?
To the best of my recollection, I believe she did. But I don't believe she left the area. But then again, the angle of my camera only faces one direction. She did go out of view several times, but...
She went out of view of the camera?
Yeah.
When she goes back into view, do you see her try and approach the male that you saw stumbling?
Yes, she did.
Were you able to see what she was doing?
No, unfortunately, no.
Why not?
Because the height of my fence blocks any view of the ground level.
What was the female that you saw in the video doing after she approaches the male that stumbled?
The best I can describe it, she looked maybe emotionally distraught. A couple of times she put, or maybe a few times she put her hands on her head. And the way I best can describe it is her pacing back and forth. It looked like she was upset.
And did you see when the police arrived in the video?
Yeah, I can't see when the police officer arrived.
Was she still there in the alleyway?
Yes.
Moment to confer, Judge. No further questions.
Let's see if there's any cross-examination.
His memory's pretty sharp. This happened in 2022, but he's clearly saying that he saw her going towards him while he's stumbling and running away. And I think him being a firefighter is big in front of this jury.
Yeah, it definitely adds credibility. The Cisneros de Bombero, he is a great witness, even though there's no video. Now, I'm unclear. She didn't shoot him there? She just chased him down, right?
That he was running away. It sounded like
she'd already been shot.
Right,
so
that she was still advancing.
There's no video of the actual shooting.
Didn't sound like he saw the shooting itself. Let's get to our break. When we come back, we'll have more of this witness on the stand. How is he going to be handled on cross?
Welcome back to Court TV Live along with Julia Janae. I'm Ted Rollins. We're in Miami, Florida today for a trial where one side is claiming that it's second-degree murder. The other is saying that this was a fight that turned into a fearful scenario and that this was self-defense, that the defendant in this case was scared for her life.
Yeah, and the woman who is still alive to tell about it is Daisy Link. She's the defendant. She's on trial for killing her off and on again partner, Pedro Jimenez. He was also the father of her 2 children. And both sides do agree that this relationship was toxic and involved abuse. Yeah,
second-degree murder is the charge. It all happened back in June of 2022. Since then, the defendant got pregnant in jail, apparently by another inmate. The story as to exactly how she got pregnant is an interesting one if you want to go on the old Google device.
To find out what the allegations are, but not something that the jury's going to hear here.
No. Let's go back in. Cross-examination now for this neighbor, Robert Cisneros. It was his video that was lost.
Good morning again, sir.
Good morning.
Now, these videos that you observed with the detectives, you all were focusing on a specific period of time, correct?
Yes.
And that would have been, I guess, after this man had already been shot, that would have been after that period of time, correct?
Yes.
You didn't have a chance to view footage that would have occurred before that may or may not have shown him running around or doing what have you, correct?
No.
But that footage would have been there because you had, I think you said you had about a month's worth of footage on there, correct?
Yeah, the cameras record 24 hours a day.
And that month's worth of footage was there was there at the time that the police took your DVR, correct?
Yes.
And you said you got it back, what, a couple weeks later?
Yeah,
More or
again,
less.
time frame wise, it was a while. Yeah,
Got it back, and when you got it back, there was nothing.
correct.
So when you got it back, did you, well, you didn't erase anything because you had nothing to erase.
No,
Did you reset the machine?
no, I did not.
Okay. Do you have any idea how that month's worth of footage got erased?
I can only speculate that since it's an older device, if it's not plugged into power, it eventually the hard drive just deletes the images.
But you don't know that,
But
right?
not for sure. No, I can't say for sure.
Okay. And as far as it being not plugged into power, well, you don't know how that works. That you're speculating that if you unplug this machine, you don't know what happens, right?
Correct. Yeah.
But the machine did work when you plugged it back in, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And it continued doing what it was supposed to do, keeping footage, saving it.
Yes.
At any given time, you've got about a month's worth of footage
Yes.
before it starts recording old footage.
Yeah. Correct.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Cisneros, how far does your camera that faces the alleyway, what's the width and length that it captures? Like, how far does it capture out?
It'll capture where my property ends in reference to the alleyway. It'll capture individuals or vehicles passing through the alleyway.
Only through the alleyway.
Well, it's mainly focused, like I mentioned, my yard is very small. It's only 5 feet from the back of the house to the fence line. So the whole purpose is just to focus on my property in case there's any trespassers or for whatever reason. But since it has a wide view, it does record, it'll see anything in the alleyway. But that's not its intended purpose. It's mainly just to keep an eye on my property in the back.
Now, this incident happened at 1237 Northwest 14th Street. Can you tell us how close that address is to your house?
We're on the same block. My house is on 15th Street, and then that address is right behind us.
Would your cameras capture all the way to that house?
No, there's heavy shrubbery, trees. The only thing you can see is just trees. There's really nothing, you can't really see anything past that point.
So it wouldn't have captured, even if it wanted to. It wouldn't have been able to capture it.
No, not past that point, no.
Judge, permission to retrieve what's already been admitted into evidence as states 6.
Yes.
Mr. Cisneros, can you show permission to step down, Judge, the witness? Permission to the witness. Can you show the jury where your house is in reference to the alleyway?
My house is this one.
You said what? So when you mention your cameras only capture here?
Yes. There's a doorway here and cameras up. It's difficult to tell, but this is actually it right here. And pretty much this is what it seems.
Now, are you able to say what direction, when you viewed that video, the male was running?
Here it came out of this area. The angle of the camera actually you can see here. So it looked like he came from this general direction, and then he ran this way. Came from this direction, came in the view of the camera around here, and then he ran this way. Like I said, he disappeared for about a minute and he comes stumbling back, and he actually, this is a canopy of a tree, but my camera can see underneath it, and he drops around here.
And then where does the female that you see in the video approach from with the vehicle?
I believe it was this general direction, because since it was dark, the headlights illuminated this entire area. So that vehicle was there the entire time. And then she walks him initially, then just paces back and forth several times until the first police officer arrives.
Thank you. You can step down.
Were you able to see in the video if she was ever on the phone or anything?
No, I can't say for sure. Like I mentioned before, she goes out of view of the camera several times, so it's possible.
Thank you, Judge. No further questions.
You can step down.
Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Jessica Lettingham. Jessica, that last question about the phone, if we had the video and the time codes, then we could match it up to the 911 call, see if it's legit when she's saying, stop, get away from me, but we don't have it.
No, we don't. But even with that, he's a great witness. As you guys just pointed out, you know, his memory is impeccable. He's a firefighter. It's going to be hard for the defense to say that he's part of a scheme to, you know, frame her and say that she's guilty when he's saying that the victim ran away from her. So, yes, do they wish, you know, that they had the video? Fine, but he is a great witness to bolster that the police weren't trying to do anything wrong here.
Yeah, anybody, I mean, he's talking north, south, east, and west. He's buttoned up. He knows his system. He knows, you know, he's the perfect witness. If you're going to use a witness to describe what was on that video, I mean, the way he described it, you could just see it. And that's exactly what the jury's going to pick up. Was the defense successful at all with really harping on the fact that you people lost the video and we don't have it here? Or do you think that just the sheer quality of this witness overcame that?
You know, the defense did a great job, but I do think that the quality of this witness really overcomes it because, he, as you were saying, he is buttoned up. He is really clear about it, you know, great memory. Unless the defense is going to have some kind of trump card saying, well, and try to impeach him and say, you know, you could be lying because of A, B, and C. You know, if it was like what we saw with Karen Reed, where all of a sudden this firefighter got a promotion, yeah, that would hurt him, but I don't foresee that happening here. I think he did a really good job of just trying to show, like, okay, the police here were a little bit inept when they were preserving this video evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't show any bad blood between these neighbors or anything like that. Jessica, thanks for that analysis.